Hello and welcome back. Today I am joined by Bragondorn
Hey.
and Marcelo from ACFM Gaming, and we're
Hello.
back in the deserts of Kharak in the expedition guide. This time we're going to look at the Gaalsien force. Can I say this? Gaalsien?
Gaalsien.
Gaalsien. Right. Let's okay all this. Vehicle manifest. Gaalsien force. These are the antagonists.
Gaalsien Force!
Yeah.
That sounds like some 80s cartoon. When you say it like that.
I don't see this as being incorrect. Alright. So we start with
Base runner rendered.
the angry Gaalsien base runner.
Looks so mad.
It does look angry.
Look at it. It's
Yeah.
got bulges on the side to make it look like pursed eyebrows.
It's got like two sets of Cylon eye fingers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that means it's double evil. And it's got a bull bar on it. A really weird bull bar. On a...
I don't know why it's up there. No, that's going to be the same thing as before. Winch attachment point.
Yeah.
And the anti-gravity generator thingies are shielded only on the front.
Well, what
From the
we
direction
were
where the attack
thinking
is
about-
not going to be coming.
What we're thinking about is these might actually be foldable, and they actually act as landing pads. To
But they're only on the...
The back end has to rest on the ground too.
Yeah.
well, that's true.
Honestly,
Or is it?
Or is it?
Yeah, they have lots more antennas on the Gaalsien forces vehicles,
Yeah.
and
Got their command and control.
I believe this is a giant refueling cap.
It does look like...
I don't
They
know
have
what
a
else it
massive
is.
crane lowering a refueling nozzle onto it.
I thought they just parked up next to fuel station. But yeah,
In the middle of the desert, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a Gaalsien fuel expert guy. Little people. These are quite decent sized vehicles. Although I don't see many
yeah.
hatches on the sides of this thing. So I guess you go in and
Yeah.
out from the back. I don't like this glowy section. It just always feels a bit weird when this is done in any Homeworld game.
Yeah, it looks like some sort of either engine exhaust or just some strange portal into the abyss.
If the glow thing was right at the end, that's slightly different. It would be force field like. But it would need to be not just solid colour.
Well, it makes sense that they have a lip on the end of it.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense they'd have a lip on the end of it in case you needed to climb up on that edge but activate the force field or have just a bit of area to walk out on.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think it's a carryover from the low resolution models and textures of the first Homeworld game, in which they did the glowy parts of the hangars, the inside of the hangar base, to kind of represent that there were active places in which there were welding ships, putting them together.
Yeah, lights and stuff, and it doesn't make sense to model all that, so just make a flat panel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although
with
in the early Homeworld games, it meshed between being the light that's somewhere inside there, but also kind of almost force fieldish.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looked like this in a not good way. Sometimes it looked more like a force field, which kind of was a nicer way to do it. Because it felt like the model was complete and not just some hollow thing that they were like, yeah, we forgot to do this, so we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's harder to achieve in because these are high resolution models and those and now the disparity between those details are it's showing.
Yeah. I feel
Oh,
it's
well.
a mission and it should have been dealt with in a better way. Salvager?
Well, no. Before I wanted to say something before is that the
Turret.
in game, this vehicle you can manufacture like a smaller, I think the scout bike
Scoutcraft from it.
thingies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I haven't
which
used
is
these in
different
a
from
long,
the.
long time.
Yeah, I haven't played Gaalsien like in a while, and the idea with this side is very similar to what they did for some of the Command and Conquer games with Nod, is that you have a more like versatile force that is like less dependent on the bigger, you know, factories, or in this case the bigger carriers and vehicles. It's just like you can have, you know, like small squadrons that are self-sustained.
Hit and run was Nod's thing.
Mm.
And
True.
I forgot to change my Steam stuff. There's no convenient way to do that, and that won't go in unless I do this. There we go.
It's
Actually,
okay.
that doesn't show up. Great. You should not be able to see this on stream. So switch to offline mode. There we go. Done. Right. I should have to make sure I let that person know that they paid on stream. They have these turrets on here. Pretty sure it's a similar turret to them. We'll come back to that later.
Yeah.
These domes or these things, are these manned? I guess they're manned.
I think they're manned. It said that it has a crew of
It's an
8
8-person
people.
Hollows or something like that.
I mean, they could be even like crew capsules or periscopes.
I mean, this one
Either
looks
way.
like it's big enough to be a crew thing. That could
Yeah.
be driver pod and that could be commander pod.
Mm-hmm.
But they almost kind of look like they should rotate. Not that they
Yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at the base of them, maybe.
do. I can't zoom any further in.
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense if they rotate. That's for sure.
Does that say ABC on it?
Yes.
Does that say ABC on it as well, but with backwards letters?
But oh yes, it's mirror texture.
Oh dear. Oops.
It's really interesting because, to some extent, those models are meant to be looked at, you know, up close when you're just like
Yeah,
browsing
right.
through the game, because it's a feature that they I think maybe they took from Massive Entertainment with they didn't do it in Ground Control, but they did it in the Cold War one, World in Conflict.
Okay.
In which
yeah.
the units, like the crew of the tanks or the IFBs, they have like conversations about things, about how the war was going and you know, stuff like that. If you zoomed in, and in Desert
Right.
Kharak, you can do that also. So to some extent,
Unit chatter
I
and
guess
stuff.
yeah, exactly. But not the regular one when you're controlling the units, but also like, you know, like idle chatter. And they just talk about like everyday regular things, like maintenance of the vehicles, you know, things with the repair shop, stuff like that. So, and that only happens when you zoom in into the vehicles. So, to some extent, I guess they should have noticed that people would like to look at these machines up close. So,
Would have been
I don't know
nice. I do feel like the exhibition guide is kind of a tacked on thing at the end, but it's still a nice thing to have.
true.
It's a tacked on. It's a very well tacked on thing. Like you can
Yeah,
see
it's not just a, you know, oh, we'll just bundle it in. It's like, actually, no, we're going to put some lore, we're going to put some actual decent graphics into this thing.
when
and-
they put the tacks on, they measured specifically that the tacks were properly aligned with each other.
Yeah.
That they
It
were
does
the most
feel, though,
iconic
it's
tacks.
incomplete, and it was just done and then not updated. But then
I
again,
had the
it's-
expectation that they were going to add the DLC
Yes, I was
beat
thinking about
to
those.
this.
Soban and what's the other one? The two other
The
forces.
atheist ones, the
Yeah,
like the Mad Max atheist, I forgot.
yeah. The other two
Really
DLC
cool.
races would have
The
been nice
what?
to have in this.
So the lore is that they're atheists and they basically hate on the Gaalsien, which are religious fanatics.
I'm like, what? Mad Max atheist?
Mhm.
It's an interesting
Yeah.
faction.
Yeah, their vehicles
Soban
are made of
and Napesh.
Kanef.
Oh, Kanef. Sorry,
Kanef.
They have
Soban and
They,
Kanef.
they basically build their forces out of looted, you know, for lack of a better term.
Did you say orcs?
Gaalsien, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the
Gaalsien.
orcs. If the orcs worship Malau,
Mhm.
Fair enough. Should we move on to next one?
Yes.
Salvager.
Salvager online.
There's not a whole lot to say about these because they use so much weird made-up tech. You can't really say, "Oh, this isn't in
They have
tank
the
doctrine."
refuelers.
Yeah, there it is.
Refueling
What
cap.
does it say?
I don't really know. 1, 2.
1, 2, 3. A, B, C.
Yes, for lack of a better answer. These look like the salvagers in or the resources in Homeworld 2.
Homeworld
I
2.
want to say, yeah. So it's direct model sort of similarity in this.
Question: are there anti-grav units on the back of this thing?
Yes.
Yes. All right. I was gonna say because it looked like it might want to tip over backwards a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not convinced they're anti-grav and not actually just cargo storage.
Fuel
Because
tanks.
they're domed usually for the
Ah.
anti-gravs.
True.
And they point down. Yeah.
And
It's
not
weird.
always pointing
Base
down.
runner ready.
These don't point down per se. But these aren't really domed.
Salvager online.
This one just, I don't know. To me, this feels like where are you storing your salvage?
But then you've only got 2 points of lift. You
Yeah.
don't have any pitch control, so you're gonna flip over.
Yep, I know. I didn't say I was perfect.
I wonder how that whole hover
articulation?
technology. They call it hover technology to in game, but we know it's kind of like
Suntor.
anti-grav.
I don't know.
I like
The-
the whole bug look though.
Yes.
Mhm.
Do they have?
Yeah.
Does
Looks like a sea creature.
does the planet have
Yeah,
a
like-
high grav field?
A rain crab without legs.
By the way, have you noticed the crew count for this?
6.
No, that's a 0. You should
0?
launch your copy of
Ah.
it.
So it's a drone.
Uh huh.
Ah. Ooh.
This explains why I couldn't see an actual cockpit.
Because there isn't one.
Yeah.
Wait, how many did their base runner have?
Base
8.
runner ready.
And that's
Salvager online.
0.
Wait, 8 for the base runner? How
Base
many
runner
did the
ready.
coalition base runner have?
I can find out for you.
Base runner in service.
10.
Okay.
So it might be that Gaalsien are using
Base runner
lower
ready.
numbers
Slightly more.
overall.
Slightly more automated systems, which would make sense because they're survivalists. They naturally would have less people.
Yeah.
It also
So
makes
they
sense, I
need to-
guess, that if there's no crude in here, you store more cargo or more power on the inside.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes more sense then. And if it's drone, it's probably got more flight control systems, fly-by-wire and such, for
Mhm.
balancing all of this thing. Maybe they just move the fuel around, and, that's how some aircraft do it. Alright, let's move on to the Sand
Light
Skimmer.
attack vehicle
This is the
online.
weird vehicle.
Yeah.
Because this is...
I do like it though.
It still looks like it's a 0 here on this crew. Could you launch yours and check? Because it's obviously showing slightly oddly as well with
It looks like
Cut
it's
text.
cut off. Yeah, it looks like it's a bit.
But the
I
other
think-
one
I
where
think
it
it's
showed
0.
8
Right,
is
right.
different. The number is different.
Light attack vehicle online.
It probably is 0 because I mean this is even smaller and it just has one purpose, which is to fly around and shoot at stuff. I mean, you look at it; it looks like a drone.
Yeah. And also I think the voices of the units, they make like really like weird sounds.
Like that sound in the background there, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Actually.
Interesting here, it says the vehicle performs its task with a deadly flesh-stripping efficiency of its namesake. Okay,
So Sand Skimmer, I'm guessing, is some sort of horrifying.
the Samt.
Samt. Sidestepping Sormer insects of the dry seas. So it's like a piranha locust or something like that.
pretty sure Nyrados are in the desert because piranhas are in the water.
Yeah, that's why it said like a piranha locust.
Yeah. It's weird they've got these flight systems, the wings on these.
Little.
Because you've got the anti-grav at the back and then these two small ones, and then you've got wings. Why do you even have wings?
I'm guessing that's to help.
Maybe so it doesn't like slide sideways and has like some lift and you can
Well,
like rotate or
I
something.
mean, those wouldn't really help much with sliding sideways, but they would probably help with attitude control and the
They do look
Yeah.
like they're ball jointed.
into the in the roll category, just for high speed maneuvering where the anti-grav units won't be able to compensate as quickly.
Twin Gatling turret, which is pivoted as well. No,
I
actually,
think-
it's not pivoted. It's static forward.
It's just it would make more sense for that vehicle to have it on the top, right?
I would have expected it.
Even if it's hovering, it's good to have it on top so that you can just have a wider arc of fire. Because if you're hovering behind a slightly bigger sand dune that goes slightly above your nose, your weapons are now useless, and you have to take off really high in the air and then get shot down.
Yeah.
Well, also, it looks like you have to aim the craft at the target all the time.
Oh.
Because this is not articulated here. There's no rotation points in this.
I don't remember if they articulate in game.
So that's slightly
Oh,
concerning.
excuse me.
But it's a drone, so disposable. Who cares then? That would be my opinion on it. If they can afford to do the sand skim attack like this, and there's a drone, sure. You know, you don't need to worry about all the extra complexities of all of that. Let's go to the assault ship. As you can see from the shapes here, these are pretty similar in theme, size. HE rounds. This is a 4-person ship.
Got that strange looking conning tower with eyes on it.
That's intimidating, look like that.
Yeah.
It is quite creepy looking. Although I gotta say, I like how they put all the armor on the rear instead of on the front, the bit that's going to be facing the enemy.
Is this armor?
Actually, I don't know.
It's got bits in it?
They have exposed components to the sand.
This is like a vent or something?
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have the pipes. Like, that's
maybe-
something that can annoy me a lot in...
Oh, these guys are nice. They have safety rails.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Look,
hang
the
on.
things
There's a hatch right there? There's a hatch.
Lift.
So-
where am I looking? Sorry, here? That's the fuel canister, isn't it? The refueling drink from before.
Yeah. It looks like a screw cap, yeah. I was gonna say that that horseshoe shape on the back, it could be coolant.
Maybe.
Like a cooling thingy.
These
A
bits look
cooling
like coolant
system.
things.
But the loudspeakers there, I have no idea what they are.
They don't necessarily
That's,
use speakers.
that's the bass boost.
Yeah.
The bass boosts their speed.
They could be sensor sections. But why are they only on that side, who knows? Or they
Yeah.
could be some strange active defense system. Or sonar or whatever, I don't know.
So we know these things don't need like any kind of like vernier or engine because they basically use the
Yeah,
whole gravity thing
gravity.
to move the craft. So
It could be that high iron content and it's all working on magnets.
Magnets.
You know, high magnetic field on the planet, which is probable. I don't actually know the details of that. But that's, you know, it could just be proper anti-grav tech. I mean, in space they do have gravity field generators and things in the later games.
yeah, and they can look like that when you think of it.
And since they meshed all of the technologies of all the cultures on the planet to make those things, it would make sense the Gaalsiens would contribute their anti-grav tech to...
Contribute. Yes,
Yeah.
they clearly worked together.
Contribute.
Yes, we're going to acquire.
Although at that point, with everything, the desert's getting bigger and hotter, everybody was like, yeah, we can't just stay set in our ways. 'Cause we're in the next 50 years, we're all going to be overbaked husks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in the, I mean, it's kind of like a bit of a spoiler, but well, it's not a spoiler if you play Homeworld 1. The
Spoiler for a 10-year-old or
yeah.
20-year-old game?
yeah, I was gonna
Uh-huh.
say
Is it
spoiler
one?
for 20-year-old game.
Yeah, it's a bit late for that. Well, in any case,
Yeah.
what I was gonna say is that when they arrive to the Kartova and their ancient city, they discover like all of the coat of arms of, let's say, of the insignias of all of the clans, and they realize that they were like
The Kifs.
once. Yeah, exactly, all of the kids, and that kind of like made them realize that, oh yeah, like we're not that different.
We're from space. Yeah, we're from the same origin. We're from space. This isn't our home.
The Sajuk and stuff.
And that's how Homeworld 1 begins, when it said like the clans were united, like all the kids united.
Yes. Except this retcons some of that in some ways, with all of the wrecks and stuff. Which is good and bad. I mean, it does ruin some of the utopian aspect of the beginning of Homeworld. But and in many ways, because of the dark beginning of Homeworld that starts in the first couple of missions, it's just like that utopian thing being destroyed was a huge impact factor in motivating everything that happened afterwards. But that's the illusion of that giving away things. Foreboding. Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun.
Missile ship, if you don't.
Dun.
Okay. I mean,
Missile
I
ship?
noticed these have articulation points on them.
Yeah.
Not
the
rotation,
No,
but elevation.
but where's the ammunition get loaded in?
Oh,
Good
we
question.
don't have ammunition. We were magic.
Yeah, by the way, where do the bullets come out of the barrels? The barrels look really weird. They look
Oh, these look like the
blades.
railguns,
The
but they're
railguns.
auto
They're
guns.
assault railguns. They're like fast
I don't
firing
know, they're
railguns.
rapid firing
More
auto
of
guns. They're not railguns, but they've got the railgun
Autocannons.
shapes.
Hmm.
Remember the
They
railgun
look
things?
like
the
they
other
would
ones?
spin like a Gatling gun or like
But
a
that's not how a Gatling
rotary
gun
barrel
works.
autocannon.
Yeah.
Missiles.
Missiles.
Like,
Right.
it's-
Missiles. Let's go to the missiles.
This is not necessarily improving my mood about this.
Let's get a little worse. Reloading the missiles. Yes.
I replaced
Mass-
the whole quad section.
massive turret. Yes.
Look, this is. I mean, there's something interesting here.
Sensor tower blocking your arc
Yeah.
of fire.
The turret doesn't need to rotate.
yeah.
And I don't think it does, because the whole vehicle is a turret.
I'm pretty sure it elevates. That doesn't actually rotate
Yeah.
at the back.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
you're
mean,
not
for
actually.
rotation, the entire vehicle rotates.
So
And the elevation.
The tower doesn't actually block in that case. Yeah, so it's elevation, the big 0G valve graviton thing there.
Mhm.
The cap here got covered.
It got lower rest.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
so
it got
it's
Tron de-resed.
Yeah.
It does say
Hanging
1, 2, 3
around
on
in
it.
the desert for a little bit longer than it should have, and it got a bit of the paint taken off.
I mean, if you look at it like this almost looks like it's actually twin really big caliber guns.
Yeah.
But they're
Which
actually
makes me
missile
think they
tubes.
could be mass drivers for the missiles. Give
Uh,
it an initial
probably.
push and kind of like a stinger. Or, what is it, javelin? I mean,
yeah.
not a stinger, but a javelin. Do stingers do that too?
Capable of mass firing anti-air as well as ground strike ordnance. Well, you could almost mass thing.
I mean, 8.
It's a 4-person craft as well, which this one looks cramped.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got this whole engine section there and whatever goes on in the rear here, you get 2 people sitting in an odd position in the tower. Maybe
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
know
2
where
people
the
in the
other.
hall.
Somewhere in the hull, but you've
Well-
got these vent sections.
Yeah, and if you look at it, like look at the
Maybe
big
one in the
dome.
forward hull here.
Mhm. basically the only like inhabitable compartment is the square part towards the front. The horseshoe part is
Oh, one could be
It
in the
looks like all
turret
machinery.
up here.
yeah. Mm.
Actually, no, you could probably get 2 people in the upper section here.
Can you take a look at the conning tower? Like
Sure.
it looks like, or those are not hatches. Those are more like.
It looks like
Greebles.
it's got a little
It looks
big.
like it opens.
It's slightly
Yeah, that
recessed,
little-
but if I do the
that
wrong angle,
giant
it
window.
de-reses.
Mm.
Can't see the
I mean,
other side.
it has like those two like
Almost looks like
screws
a,
there,
There's
as
3
if
of them.
it's like pops
like
open.
it.
I don't understand the access points in these vehicles. I'll say that now. I also don't understand
Yeah.
why these things are bolted on like this, unless this is just a removable
Well-
module.
Yeah, yeah. Like one thing we know is that people you climb those stairs, the access gotta be up there somewhere.
This makes more sense as well, except it's still not great, but at least you can get onto this vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, not the same with everything, and I can see right the way through the lighting on this one, but we won't talk about that.
I like that it has some kind of like a glassy protecting the neck of the conning tower. as
Oh,
if it were
yeah.
a turret.
Yeah. That's nice. I like this front end. It looks busy in the right ways.
Yeah.
These could even be 2 windows almost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, this is sort of front of a vehicle kind of thing you kind of would expect.
Yeah.
It's an interesting design with these. And like you said, the entire... This is not the turret, this is just the elevation only. And
Mhm.
I'm not even sure. It does elevate a little bit. And there's a rotation point.
Yeah.
Rotation point
I
from
think
here, you only have
they-
limited elevation on it, but it does elevate.
Mm.
And if the weapons are guided, it shouldn't be too much of a.
Yes, and it does anti-air as well, although anti-air I would have expected to have gone much higher up.
Much higher, yeah.
Because this is,
Um,
they've got to be a long way away from you to get, by the time the missiles get out to you and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you're using more fuel
Anti-air,
than
what are
missiles
they
to do it.
shooting down with those things? Those are some big bore missiles.
Well, we can go
Missiles.
back and have a look. But,
I guess it's all around anti-air, so you could have like a holder that goes in that can hold multiple smaller missiles in one tube.
yeah. Assault railgun? Okay.
Alright, let's go to that one.
Railgun in service.
This is a different thing. So the horseshoe thing is slightly changed. The grav
Looks
gen
more
engines changed.
looks more armored up, even though that's not the section you want
This
to
isn't.
armor.
Yeah, I like this design for the weapon system, and this like triple iron cannon kind of thing is really nice. Triple railgun though. Wow, hitting range. That
These actually look closer to actual railguns.
Yeah.
because obviously don't want to see
I mean-
railguns in person, but you know. But
Well,
these-
they actually have shrouds over the rails.
Mm-hmm.
Everything
Yeah.
looks a bit more enclosed to keep the sand out.
This looks more like something you would use in that sort of area. It's still got probably too many moving parts for my tastes, but it's got a more protected system.
True.
And electronics and things like that are sensitive need to be protected in those environments. Faster rate of fire, quite blunt. Yes, this is a blunt design. This is effectively like a pugilist, is what I would say, this vehicle. Gets in, punches hard, short range, heavy damage.
Although, if it's short range, you'd expect it to be a bit better armored, because
Mm-hmm.
it's got almost no armor.
Let me just double
Like
check.
the white part, it looks armored, but then you have like that
Yeah.
big opening underneath the railguns. That is.
Just less
It's
hitting
literally
power
a
and
chute
range.
guiding rounds up into the bottom of the turret.
Yeah, there's you spin the vehicle. There's no rotation on this turret, and it's iffy on the elevation. I can't see for sure if there is elevation on this. It looks like this is the elevator here, and the entire front thing elevates, and that is not an efficient way to do that.
sounded
Not supported very well at all. If there were hydraulics here, I would give it some credit for it, but it doesn't look like there is.
Oh look, the entire thing like elevates from that gigantic.
The hinge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is not a good way to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weak point. It's just so much mass that is moving on this hinge, which can probably do it well, but I would have actually had pneumatics here, or hydraulics down
Yeah.
here as well, supporting it.
Maybe those square thingies are supposed to be that, but they just
They
like.
just didn't
Nah,
bother
they're
modeling.
just a bar because it's in some of the other things as
Oh
well.
yeah, it's a bar.
Yeah, it's kind of rests on that theoretically.
Interesting.
It's got a weird sticky out bit there. Oh, this does.
Bits and bobs.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a second, guys.
And then we can see right through the back of the vehicle
Oh,
because
forgot
that's
the
how it
textures.
works. Because you know,
Ooh.
it's fine. This is a three-person vehicle as well. I reckon minimum one in the tower. Possibly one in the rear engine section. I would not put one in the gun, so maybe two in the tower.
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe they're all cramped into one tiny space. You can fit 3 people in quite a small space if you try hard enough.
Well, if you wanted to be happy for you at the other end, you know. Let's hit heavy railgun.
Heavy railgun in service.
Now this looks like it's mostly the same chassis. Let's go back
Assault
between
railgun
them.
in service.
Yeah, it looks
Assault
like the same
railgun,
chassis.
heavy railgun in service.
they
Assault
reposition-
railgun in service.
The grav stuff at the
repositioned
back's
some of the-
Heavy
altered,
railgun in service.
and then the whole top section there's changed.
Yeah, they repositioned some of the.
So it looks like
Gravity
here
and
there is
service.
more need for these at the back because of the mass at the front,
Heavy railgun
and
in
here
service.
is a much lighter system, so they don't need the extra anti-grav stuff at the back. And
That
it's
looks less like a railgun and more like.
sword.
a-
Try to be faster. I
yeah,
want
I
to
was
stab
gonna-
them.
Yeah, they decided, screw it, we're just gonna take a red hot sword and just stab the enemy ships with it.
That's
than-
not necessarily a bad thing. That's an option in some cases.
Although I would put more armor on the front if I was gonna do that, 'cause this has no armor.
This one
Once
looks like
again-
it's got a hydraulic system going on, but this one's a tank hunter. That's undoubtedly its purpose.
Yeah,
Even
And of course this is
before you know
supposed to be-
that. But
hiding behind something and then firing from long range. That would make sense why it would have no armor,
so I do.
or at least a little
Electrical
bit of
caliber
armor.
to the horizon. Same railgun for fire vehicle disabling EMP rounds. Why would you fire EMP stuff from a railgun?
Oh yeah, that would probably cause a few problems.
Well, how do you detonate the EMP on a hypersonic shell?
And wouldn't the magnetic field passing through the projectile mess with the EMP mechanism too?
Possibly, unless it's shielded, but then why is it shielded and then unshielding itself unless it has sabot stuff, you know, the cladding that breaks off it. I don't know what it's called at the moment.
Sabo.
Yeah. Unless you're doing that, it's and there's no space for that in here, unless it's an absolutely tiny, minuscule.
Yeah,
little
where do they
EMP
hold the
round.
ammunition? Although the ammunition for a railgun, because it's hypersonic, it's probably very small.
Give it the DMP! DMP! I don't understand myself.
It's I don't know.
Now, if you look at
They went
this,
for the triple rails again.
you got a little eye over there, and it's like some sort of angry duck. The beak of an angry duck, and there's an eye there. He's like, "Why'd you take my other eye?"
Yeah, or like some sort of
Then he gets real mad at you.
a very skinny toucan.
It's interesting. They do keep the antenna here. I do wonder.
That's a big antenna.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of.
High gain
You could put a
antenna.
periscope and stuff there.
Yeah, it could just be a sensor mount.
Yeah, you
It's
back,
interesting
Marcelo?
how they have those. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say that they have those gigantic hinges and then the hydraulic thing, like in a way that they wouldn't actuate like that much
Yeah,
on the
it
hinge,
doesn't.
and then they have the
I
bar.
don't think it does much because it's below the bar. It probably it's difficult to tell. I can't zoom anymore. No, hang on. These hydraulics are here. So yeah, this thing does have a hydraulic system going on.
Mm-hmm. But
And
they
if you look at the difference here at
Assault
the
railgun
back,
in service. Heavy railgun. Assault railgun in service.
that's got more mass, which is why it's got the extra thing in the back.
Heavy railgun in service.
That's meant to be much lighter.
this one has lower profile also.
Yeah, it's a sniper. It's anti-tank hunter. Oh, sorry, tank hunter. Ready to move on? Interceptor.
Interceptor assembled.
Look at the name. Look at the name.
I like this one. There's
This
less.
is really nicely styled. I mean, slight issues with this, but I actually really like the style of this.
Yeah, you've got a bit
Yeah.
of air traps going on right there, but yeah, a lot of it's very smooth, very aerodynamic.
The landing gear decisions here are interesting. I would have put it further forward, but it's still really nice. I love the engine design on this.
Well, the rear end looks quite heavy,
Yeah.
so it doesn't look like the
Oh, just
tipping port.
the engine, the vectored thrust, the way the wings are set up. It doesn't have the same vertical control surfaces, but these look like they actually can
They
do a lot
they
of
rotate
control.
the whole thing.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
great, but it's good. And these look like flaps.
Oh yeah, or yeah, speed brakes or spoilers. Like they could actually assist with the yaw.
Yeah, and this just looks like it's actually really nicely well designed. It's a one-person craft as well. I don't know how you get in. It's probably, I'm guessing.
There's the
hatch.
yeah,
There.
that
Yeah.
look hatch.
And the Cylon eye thingy.
Yeah, and the twin gun in the front. Yeah, but that's the thing. They've got a single eye or offsets.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like this one. It just looks right, and it's one of those things of aircraft. If it looks like it can fly, it probably can fly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is
Looks
there
like a
anything
bug,
else you want
in
to
a
add
way.
specifically on it?
Yeah, pretty much everything they have looks like some sort of insect.
Mm-hmm. No, nothing in particular.
Slightly
it does
asymmetric,
kind of
which
like-
is kind of nice.
Yeah. And there's like a hint of thrust vectoring.
Oh yeah, there is thrust vectoring in this.
Yeah, that's definitely thrust vectoring.
At least on these upper control surfaces, not so much on the bottom. But it's also single engine type. It doesn't look like it's a dual engine type. Or if it is a dual breather, it's internal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't see any intake unless that's on the
Maybe-
bottom.
Yeah, maybe it's on the bottom.
The asymmetric thing, I was thinking it's nice, but it's also destabilizing. But then if you're fly-by-wire, who cares?
True.
I can't
Well, it
see.
helps not to stress your fly-by-wire systems.
You can't see the VTOL stuff as easily on this. Are these ones
Yeah, it's
VTOL?
very-
It's too dark. They all are. Look, it has like landing thingies as opposed to wheels.
Although, even
You
if
could
you're a
skid them
VTOL,
these.
even if you're a VTOL, it would make sense to use wheels
Yes.
because you still need to move around while on the ground, or you might not have full VTOL because you got damaged, so you need to do a
Yeah.
conventional landing or semi-conventional landing, and having just landing skids would.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
Hurt that.
convinced with these landing feet that they're actually strong enough to hold it. But they do look like at least these parts are attempting to do that, unlike certain other
Yeah.
games we talk about occasionally. But these are also nice because they look like they go in nice and flush. There's no hatches, there's no doors, this is just the way it works.
Yeah.
Which does actually lead you into problems if you have damage on takeoff or landing.
Mm-hmm. Because then basically the part that is covering against the the part that is getting flush against the airframe is the one that gets scraped or damaged.
Yeah,
It's the one
but
pushing the
that's
floor.
supposed to protect the landing gear from being damaged. Is the landing gear?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so any damage you take in flight kind of potentially is higher risk in landing, and also any damage like landing and taking off damages your aerodynamics.
True. But one thing that I was gonna say is from moving the craft, maybe they have like some like smaller version of that gratuitous anti-gravity thing that they can just like move the craft around.
Hang on, these are on catapult, right?
These ones are not. They just
Are these pure
full
VTOL?
VTOL.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's
pure
fine
VTOL,
then. I was going to say, if this is on this is catapult, how are you moving the thing on these sled gear?
Yeah. Yeah.
That would have seemed like a frictional nightmare.
hmm
Full VTOL's fine then.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on then.
It looks like it has air brakes on the
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
top
these
of
two.
the engine. Yeah.
These two would be big ass flaps for air brakes probably. And or the VTOL system.
True.
I don't like that idea because it's such a huge tinged thing. I can't zoom
All
any
the way up to the
further.
back.
I mean, I think it's more than likely just additional flaps and control surfaces, and not VTOL. I'd have to sit and look through the stuff.
Bomber assembled, standing by for assignment.
This is a nice craft.
Yeah.
It's all intake. That makes sense. I mean, it's weird the way you get a free crewman, but this is just huge air breathing system.
And it looks like that drone, like that carrier-based drone. I think Dorn may be able to help us with the name and classification of the thing.
US one?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. This looks like it's got the twin engine design, the two big ones on the edges and then the smaller thrusters here. Or smaller engine system. I like the colour scheme for this as well. Not just the colour scheme, the patterning breaks up the shape. So you're looking at it and you're like, hang on a minute, what's going on there, what's going on there? It's just, it doesn't look like, you know. Weapon systems are internal. That's pretty clear. You can't see anything there. The bay doors are somewhere under there. You can see the thrust vectoring here for the VTOL.
Yeah.
Can't see the others easily. I'm guessing it's under this wing mount here.
Could be.
It sticks out a little bit. Can't see under it.
I would say that this is the most aerodynamic shape that this game has.
Oh, it also has proper. This is more likely to work vertical surface.
Yep.
And then those weird hatches on the top.
That they
Probably
open
the
frontwards,
most
right?
aerodynamic one that would work. Well, yeah, it opens in a really weird way. I don't know about what's going on there. This is probably the most aerodynamic craft that probably would work in the Terran atmosphere.
Yeah.
Probably this one,
Interceptor
probably this one
assembled.
second. But this one's a bit iffy, I would say.
Yeah, the bomber is
assembled,
definitely
standing by for assignment.
let's say a more real life one.
Yeah.
Walk here.
Yeah. Smart munitions. A single bomb at a time. Konari or Konara. 2 smart bombs. Yeah. Dawn, you still around?
Yep, it just, yeah, I like the vertical surfaces and the fact that it looks like an X-47.
There we go.
That's
He's
it.
figured it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I was away kind of looking around like, okay, what is that plane?
Yeah. There's not really much more I can say on this. There's
Although-
no obvious glaring issues I can see with it, apart from how do you see.
Although, reading with this thing, it says that it's a slow-moving aircraft.
That does not look like a slow-moving aircraft.
No, it does not look like... that thing, it looks like it's naturally would be very fast, as well as... Well, a design like that would have a lot of trouble trying to fly at a low speed.
Slower,
well, not
yeah.
a lot of trouble, but it wouldn't be very efficient. It looks like it'd be efficient for high speed.
I think with the amount of air intake this thing's got, it's a very different beast to the others. And it does look here high speed on this. This is very high speed.
It's kind of like contradicting the
Interceptor
stats.
assembled. Bomber
This is the
assembled.
same
Interceptor
speed.
bomber
Same speed as the
assembled,
fighter.
Standing by for
Yeah.
assignment.
At least according to this stat line. no, I see this as just being high thruster weight ratio and high impact delivery. Although where and how the fuel is stored is an interesting way to do this. The
Maybe
efficiency
in
is
the
going on.
wings. I mean, the wings are thick enough.
They
Yeah,
are.
and it looks like the main fuselage has enough room for internal tanks.
Yeah.
But then you've also got this large bomb it's talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
So single impact bomb. So and it's one of these deadly bombs with potentially two. So
I wonder, and it talks about an upgraded version that can carry two. So I guess maybe they made like more efficient engines and remove some of the fuel and use that space for the second
shorter
bomb.
range
I
or
guess.
something,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah, trading the range for the payload.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these aren't really ranging far from the carriers, to be honest. Nothing is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so that is the aircraft. Let's have a peek at the heavier stuff.
Production cruiser rendering complete.
Production cruisers. So these are the effective support cruisers.
Mhm.
With a
I think it looks
weird
like a
car design.
sports car.
Yeah. And it has
Makes me
like.
think of like was it the newer Nissan? Was it the Maxima?
Now
Something like
these,
that. Kind of looks like that.
these
just
hydraulic
different.
systems,
And they're moving.
they have
something
to rotate
on the-
this.
Yeah.
I can't see why
Yeah.
else you would have these.
Mm-hmm.
But how much rotation on this there is, who knows? I think these probably rotate down to be vertical, and
Yeah.
these rotate as well.
But why would you have so many hydraulics just to rotate that small section?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, to make it look nice.
It's like sometimes they go like on a gribble overdose, and
And
sometimes
it's on
they
the
do
front of the
things
vehicle
just right.
too.
Yeah.
It does have nice seaways positions though. These look mostly decent for the front.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing
Yeah.
at the back, which, well, no, actually, no, there are two at the
Yeah.
back. That's good.
Two more.
Okay, now it's
This
got
thing
decent
has,
coverage.
This one has 2 gas caps.
Yes, it does. Because it needs double the fuel.
Yeah.
It does have a lot of blind spots with this, with the Seaways.
Yeah, the seaways can only fire front and sideways, and then there's like a.
Well, you'd miss the forward section here, you'd miss these sections up close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyone boarding this thing would get away free. Now,
True.
I tried looking at these parts before, and then looking around here and being like, that's not got very much space to.
Base. Yeah, it's like thin, like a single wall.
And this is meant to be
Doesn't
like
look like it's very
secret
structurally
glowy.
sound.
Yeah, it's a little too thin on the floor and ceiling, in my opinion.
But it's got super materials.
Mm-hmm. I think it has a spine. Like you see those, like those beams with diagonals
this
and
way?
vertical beams. Yeah.
That's
Like that wall that you're pointing at, that bulkhead. is
that's
Yeah,
a
but
here.
spine.
That
that's
bulkhead's right
designed-
here.
Such a design would really want to twist around, even if it was
Mhm.
central.
Here.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
interesting.
because
one.
you're right. It's not centered. It's.
Yeah. It's kind of down this line, which kind of makes it slightly more worrying.
Mm-hmm.
These are the repair beams. One here, one at the
Yes.
back. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you got the conning tower there.
Look at the balance
25
that it has.
people here.
Just a lot of empty space.
Oh yeah. Oh, three repair beams? Three. There's none in this corner, but 2 at the back, 1 at the front.
And the front looks like it's all gears and stuff.
Yeah.
And the back is
yeah,
like-
I don't understand that. That's where the crew go, I guess.
Engines and fuel. Yeah.
Fuel.
Well, obviously those aren't gas caps, but yeah.
Production
These are
cruiser cruiser
not
rendering.
similar
Production
hulls.
cruiser rendering complete.
No, they are not.
No.
It's a similar sort of hingey section going on here, I guess. I don't really understand how this thing
Once
works.
again, that looks over-engineered.
I mean, look at the scale of it. I guess that makes sense. It's fine with the dust, but still, it's... yeah. This thing, though, I like. I really, really like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because this makes sense when you're protecting your weapon systems, potentially even reloading. Because you can close
Yeah.
one of these up, reload one, and then do the similar thing with the other one, but there's not much space to do it. Maybe reload from the back on that one, reload from the front on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But it, you know, you want to protect your payload.
Yeah, the last thing you want someone to the last place you want somebody to shoot you is that nice little section full of high explosives.
Yeah, the magazine and just gone.
The
Kind of.
That's how you kill pretty much any sort of armored vehicles. Shoot it in the magazine.
This one's got 2 conning towers, so I guess that's driving or that doesn't have any.
Targeting maybe. It doesn't have any viewports. Could be just
Yeah.
sensors.
Are these viewports then technically?
Yeah, and it should be the other way around then. That one should
Those
be
should be
in
in
the
front. Yeah, exactly.
Not my design. I'm not going to defend this one. Look how many fuel canisters.
What do you want? 4.
4. So much fuel. Guess you're fueling the missiles too.
I wonder what those are actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. They look like hatches to get into the other vehicles, but I don't think they're hatches on these ones.
Those are huge.
They look like as if they like unscrew and pop out and bend something. It's kind of like
Well,
how I see them.
It could be thermal venting, just unscrewing and actually doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
On this section, it makes sense to do that. Let's pop back to here.
Base runner rendered.
Could I guess you could? No, it doesn't look.
Maybe,
maybe.
the engine is. I don't know, or like the coolant system is there. And that's like.
I guess, yeah.
Armored ship online.
These ones
Those
have
are
them on the
big
sides though. That doesn't look right. Maybe.
I think. I mean, from a realistic perspective, if you want to do venting, you should do it
Sea
like
cruiser
downwards
rendering
and then
complete.
like mix it, right?
No, not necessarily. Side or rear, definitely rear to get it away from you, especially if you're moving forward. So side, rear, or above, because just it's going to go up anyway. Putting it down below is not going to help you. There's different colours over here, different lighting. It's got 4 Seawiz as well, which is nice. And then look at the Honor Guard cruiser.
Honor Guard cruiser awaiting.
Now
deployment.
this looks scary. That's just one big ass gun.
And it's got missiles too, and a lot of double Seawiz.
Oh yeah. Now, I get funny about calling things like what's it called, flagships, but Honor Guard, this makes sense to be like, yeah, this is the protection cruiser, although that's actually, that's kind of less protection, more offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this just describes just how dangerous this thing is. And it
Yeah,
is
they don't have a traditional description. They just have, oh crap,
run.
what is
Just
that
run.
thing?
Just run. That is the description. This one has a better hinge system. It looks slightly weaker, but it's a clearer design.
Yeah.
This one's much lower to the ground. And this uses the same missile system as the Coalition one. The 2 quad launchers. Because if you look at the Coalition artillery cruiser,
Artillery cruiser operational.
Mm-hmm.
it's these
Oh, wow.
missiles.
There's also one
Honor Guard
again, like
cruiser awaiting
spoilers.
deployment.
one unit that you get in the single player campaign that is called an assault cruiser, which is kind of like a scaled down version of this, and minus the railgun is more mobile.
Yeah.
That it would be kind of like an equivalent to the destroyer in the Homeworld games, like a middle unit,
Yeah.
like bigger than a frigate and smaller than a cruiser. So, and it's kind of like similar in layout to this one, and it also has
Destroyers are usually smaller.
Yeah, usually smaller. Smaller than cruisers.
Smaller
Yeah.
than frigates.
well in
Somewhat.
that depends. I mean, I'm talking about Homeworld.
Yeah, the Homeworld destroyers are bigger.
The Homeworld destroyers are bigger, and kind of like the present day destroyer that is bigger than a frigate.
Because frigates are long-range patrol, destroyers are independent. They can do what they want, basically. Cruisers are just like power projection.
Mm-hmm.
And like submarines and carriers are force multiplication. If I remember right.
Submarines and carriers.
Force multiplication, because they don't just project the firepower, they multiply the ability to do stuff because of their submunition, effectively, and
Different
the aircraft.
specialized weaponry and specialized abilities.
Yes, because they're not direct fire weapons per se.
Unless you're talking the submarines with their tomahawks.
Even then, that's force multiplication. And that's
So yeah, you wouldn't wage a war with the they sit there and complement the weapons already at use.
Yes, so they're dead support unless they're doing hunter-killer operations, which is unlikely, but possible. Yeah, I like this vehicle. I really think that this gives a menacing, dangerous feel about it. And the design of some of the features of it is really, really nice. These little wing things are a bit funny, but they're fine. They work. These,
I think they. Well, go ahead.
I would say these are not really hinged as much, but then it looks like they're designed to touch the ground. And this is just to get your front landing down to when you do need to do turn off the grav engines kind of thing. You were saying?
That this design proves that if you want to achieve like a good looking ship that looks like it could work within the rules of the universe, you don't need to go like overboard with the gribble and the offset and the asymmetry.
This looks armored too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it looks like it's got a lot more armor, except by the gun, but that looks like that's
less of an issue. I mean, you'll be firing it from this direction probably, unless you're an aircraft. If you're coming at it from the front, well, that's a whole different ballgame because you've got to worry about this thing firing at you.
Yeah, I think that's like in the design, like they knew that anything that is in front of it, that they wouldn't attack it head on.
Rear is reasonable, but the amount of firepower this can do, it can protect itself and it can do long-range firepower, and it's not hobbled by just having a fixed mount all the time, because the missiles negate that.
And that's an offensive weapon because it's not meant to. I mean, you would have to like tilt the whole thing or like park it on a dune upwards to have like an indirect fire effect from that railgun, a long-range one.
I don't think you'd indirect fire with a railgun.
Yeah,
no, not
exactly.
With this anyway. You'd indirect fire with the missiles. You've got close-range support for anything that comes near. These are pretty hefty close-range weapons.
Yeah.
And that is the carrier hunter kind of thing, not even tank hunter.
Yeah. You know what it would be really useful, and maybe it can? If that gun would have depression, so it could do like a hold down and tilt it down. Which, I mean...
I don't know if there's hinging in this. It looks like there could be.
No, it doesn't. It looks
it's got the same hinging as the others.
So, that weird way on the end.
Yeah, which to be fair is not the worst thing you can do with this, but it should have more support. I mean, actually, no, it's cradled on that.
Yeah.
It's cradled in there, yeah.
It's cradled there. In any case, it's a horror vehicle. Well, what I was trying to say is that it's meant, like the text says, to destroy fortifications.
Yeah.
And this is, I guess, they designed this to break through the, how did you call it, the Stormbreaker project that the coalition had. It was basically building a gigantic wall to prevent the desert from coming in, and also like separating, the Gaalsien from the people who lived in the polar regions.
I mean, it's a siege weapon to do that, but also the carriers themselves are not particularly fast moving, particularly compared to this. Now, what's interesting with this is the name as well, because Sajuk is the Sajuk Kar was the hand that creates what is, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
And Sajuk is a religious, basically for God.
He's their creator,
yeah. But this is just like, I don't know what Tar means, but my guess is probably like wrath of God or something.
Yeah.
That would be my expectation on something like this.
Yeah, it sounds like appropriate name for this vehicle.
Yeah. Alright, let's move into the last one then, I guess, the carrier.
Carrier systems ready.
There's a lot of anti-grav going on here. A lot of anti-grav.
Oh yeah.
And this one looks pretty static. It's solidly set up. There's Sea-Wiz here, with a smaller version of Sea-Wiz.
It's like an air intake there.
Where am I looking? Oh, here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, this is a big ass intake of some sort.
Yeah.
That's going to loop around the side. This looks like cargo, and that's probably the
Got the
repair beam.
little crane.
Oh,
it's a
crane or
repair
repair beam. We were saying it could be repair in the other ones. More anti-grav. Even more different shapes of
There's a
anti-grav.
lot of-
I swear they just got every
They
type of
slip
anti-grav
every
shape.
single Anti-grav onto it and just like, oh, it's not enough. We need a little bit more here. Just throw another one on.
This looks like venting for the engine system. But like these are flaps kind of thing, depending on how much steam or whatever's coming out of it, for coolant and whatever. I don't remember if this is missile. I think this might be missile equipped. Yes, I believe this is missile equipped. Where's the big ass missile come from on this one?
Does he have one?
I don't remember. I haven't actually used one of these in a very long time, probably about 2 years. So I need to look. And we said these are pure VTOL craft.
Mhm.
So that's 3 fighters, 3 bombers come out from here, and these are just module sections.
Yeah.
These 3 parts.
We also need to keep in mind that this, like the text said, and the way you play with Gaalsien, is that this craft is not going to be like a single mothership unit from where you build everything. This is, the support cruisers and the,
Yes.
in this case, the production cruisers and the base runner, they build other units. So this is like a lighter carrier compared to the coalition one.
Well, the whole Gaalsien thing is hit and run and kind of guerrilla tactics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you will spread out your forces, you will put them where they need to be and do stuff from there.
Mhm.
And this also looks kind of interesting in the twin bridge section. You've got the primary bridge here, but this is almost like a secondary battle bridge,
Yeah.
which I like because it fits the idea of redundancy.
Redundancy, but that.
Mm-hmm.
And here
I like in
is
this one. Oh.
go on.
No, that's just something silly, like what we were talking about before. The island in this carrier looks like a speeding cobra.
Yes.
Oh yeah, with the.
Yeah, the I don't know what they call them, the big things that come out the sides.
Yeah.
It's interesting
And it has-
in how it does. Like basically, it's a through deck vehicle,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and this is what I'm saying here. It looks kind of like this is meant to be a force field, but does not appear as a force field.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
really far in the back.
And it's just like a big.
The coloring, the lighting, the shaping on it just doesn't fit. Yeah. Core Duke class of production carriers, yes. But yeah, this is
Production carrier.
that's the other one, I believe.
We're talking about the cruiser, production cruiser.
Cruisers. Carrier.
Mhm.
This
Production
is
cruiser
the
record.
Core
Is it the
Duke.
same
Oh,
name?
that's a typo.
Ah,
then.
yeah, the typo.
That says cruiser and this
Carrier
says
systems ready.
carrier.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's gotta be a typo then. This is 1,000 plus crew as well. And it seems it's got cargo on one side but nothing on the other, which is a nice asymmetric sort of feel to it. It's still kind of weird because it looks like
Maybe-
here this can possibly
Could carry another one.
yeah, that could be a modular section for it.
Like a mission package or like extra supplies for depending on the duration of the.
Possibly, yeah. I like when they do little things like the hazard striping here, although this looks like it's hinged,
Mm-hmm.
so it's possible maybe loading or crane or actual thing there. Repair, I don't really know. It's got on both sides. The coalition one, so having the giant hinges on the tracks and stuff, that is both useful but also right. That seems like the scariest thing to be doing on those things.
Mm-hmm.
you know, hinging it to try and climb dunes or get out of whatever situation it's in. I really don't understand how you get on and off this vehicle. Like, oh man, Timmy was off sunbathing and now he's gone. He's gone now. He's just gone. Gonna need a new Timmy.
Let's just say that maybe they have like flush to the bottom of the whole elevator thingies.
Oh, like Keg does
No.
his. Yeah, maybe. It's interesting with this little gap here. I don't understand
Yeah.
why they do that.
It's like no need.
Sure, can't even see it from down here.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, no, hang on, no, it could be there. It's just because it's the lip on the window. Yeah, I like this design. It kind of feels right, even though I don't like some of these bits like this.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that they basically got a shit ton of their anti-grav things and were like, yeah, we need a bigger ship. Let's just put a bunch of these on. And I almost wonder if some of these are put here so they can then be hot swapped to some of the other craft.
Could be.
Which would make sense. That modularity.
Because this looks like it's the key one for here, but these ones could be spare for some of the other craft. And if this is the actual crane thing, the system that works in here, that could be how they do some of it. But then again, they could just take them into the bays and deal with them in there. So who knows? The Sea Whiz here is pretty lame. There's like 2 corners which do not have very good fire arcs. I mean, how are you going to fire down on this? I can't even angle this correctly. The forward 2 are not so bad. And then you got a mid... Is that a midships one? It's not even a turreted thing.
That was very loud.
A dome thingy?
I don't know. Sensor dome of some sort. There's nothing on this side.
Yeah, somebody made a hissing sound or said the letter S or something, and it like blasted in my earphones.
Oops. I said midships?
Kind of.
Maybe.
Oh.
But that doesn't look like it's going to...
Yeah.
I think it's probably just some dome, or
Maybe
it's
only
just missing texture. Missing model stuff. And you got the missiles here, and on the other side as well. Although the weird layout for numbers. Can't really count these from this angle. Alright, what do we got here? That's 10. And this is also 10. Plus 7. So 17, and then oddly this random 18th one here. Because why not?
Yeah. You have like an empty row there that could, house more.
4 or more. 4 slots. They're 3 slots.
Mm-hmm.
So in theory 21. Assuming that there's no one on this side. Nope, there is not. These yellow things are just like greebling and other little greebles and stuff. Interesting that they haven't like put the numbers on the top of the carriers.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's... Yeah, unless this actually is... No, that's just their shape. Their symbol for themselves. Alright. I think that covers everyone. Gaalsien's not as complex to go through.
They're a lot simple. They use some other stuff you can't really quantify, and there's not as many vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have fewer aircraft by 1. And they don't have the science runner. Yeah, there's not really much to say about it, Gaalsien, because you can't ID a lot of the things. They're more streamlined design, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like very much in this game that it's not just weapon differences, the actual models are very clearly differentiated from each other. Particularly factions, and they do have similarities in them, which is nice. The faction designs for the the anti-grav stuff and the like the horseshoe thing, the system seems to be going on for not aircraft, for a lot of things. And I guess horseshoe crab or other sort of, there must be desert creatures that kind of have a sort of body shape that really works on, okay, not those, on heavy vehicles and the cruiser vehicles, inspiring them and such. Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, they do like name them after desert creatures, and depending on their behaviors and if there's a predator or something like that.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned like the horseshoe shape, that carried over to the design of the Kushan. I mean, their side in Homeworld 1, the fighters had that round, kind of like roundy back
Somewhat,
in
yeah.
a way. Yeah, somewhat. I mean, it was definitely flatter, but and interestingly enough, the Bentusi had it.
Oh, the Bentusi, yes.
Mm.
But they were not. I think, if anything, it would have been the ancient Higarans.
Yeah.
Would have had ships similar to that, as it had been Tuesday with the early dealings, and then any regs
Yeah.
found here would have been a copy of that if it went that way in them.
Definitely. I mean, that would be the logical way within the lore for that design to be present in Kharak.
Before we finish though, this is 533 meters, and the coalition version,
Yeah, isn't this one smaller?
slightly, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Although this
More
compared to
developed.
just compared to the Napesh and the Soban, there are slightly different sizes and layouts on decks.
Yeah, the
but-
coalition has more conventional takeoff and landing, whereas these guys only have to worry about VTOL,
Yeah.
Carrier systems
and they probably
ready.
have much more automated, streamlined systems.
The voices on these are also very mechanical and such.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I think that's more or less it, unless there's anything else you guys want to add.
No, I think we covered everything, and like John and you said, it's a more streamlined side faction. I mean, and the vehicles are like smoother, and like, they didn't have as many ripples to talk about. So
Yeah.
They're a bunch of
We
yeah,
can't
Gaalsien.
quibble so much about the design on these because
Oh yeah, and they have their weapons aren't sticking out, causing tons of drag too. Like
yes.
some people.
Yes.
I also like how these guys are a bunch of weird people who hang out by themselves, have lots of technology that they hoard greedily, wear weird hoods and masks, talk in creepy robot voices, and shoot anybody who tries to take any weird tech.
Oh, in the cutscenes, yes, but these in this guide, these are the same models.
I was drawing a comparison to some other faction
Yeah.
that I know of.
All right.
Jeez.
Let's wrap up here then, and we'll be back again at some point soon. I will be off for a little while, but sometime in August we should be back with more stuff properly. Alright, thank you Marcelo, and thank you Bragondorn.
Thank you.
thank you for having me.
Wish I could have input more in here, but I'm a little tired today.
That's alright. We'll get you back soon, and then you'll be more awake. We'll ply you with alcohol and coffee, possibly at the same time, in the same drink.
I do have some coffee liqueur over by the refrigerator. I should have grabbed that.
Make some Irish coffee.
Yes. Well, we shall see you guys again soon.
All right.
Bye.
See you.
Take care.